at the end of the day, we believe that this route that we have chosen with, throwing all our support behind independent educators, at the end of the day, will get the best results for Lash students.
Besties, and welcome to
My Lash to Brain Cells.
I'm your host, Maddie Morris.
And I'm your host, Elliot Morris.
And today we have something very exciting to talk to you about that involves you, and it is called
Quick Fans. Quick Fans is the fastest, easiest technique to make fans in seconds. It's a technique you can do and also teach. And that's very important, and you will see why in a moment. So do you want to just jump into it?
I want to just jump right into it. Yes.
So maybe I think if you're in our audience, if you're listening to the podcast, you've probably noticed some things that have happened over the last year or so in the Lash education world, and we just want to talk about it.
Everyone is saying things have changed, things have evolved, things have shifted, but no one is telling us what has actually happened. And Elliot and I have always been at the forefront of, we've always, as much as we don't want to be the guys to do it, we care so much about this industry.
We just want it to be good. We just want everyone to be safe, and we want everyone to be able to build their businesses and take clients and teach and have a good time.
This is the industry I'm in. Like, this is my life, my heart, my soul. And so when there are things, even though they're hard to talk about, and even if we have to be the first to say something, I'm happy to do so because I want to see a future for lash artists and lash trainers that is really, really good.
So you've probably seen that over the last year or so, online lash education has gotten a lot smaller. It's gotten a lot less popular. And I think a primary reason for that is the effects of MRR.
What we talked about in January.
January, and I would just like to give ourselves a pat on the back for
pat yourself on the back, King.
I think we were 100% right about that, and unfortunately I think that the after effects of MRR is that a lot of people have become a lot less trusting of like online education because there was a lot of it that people felt scammed by. And I think if you feel scammed by a course you took, or you feel like you didn't get your money's worth, or maybe you don't even know if someone's course is something they actually made, I think that's going to make you very skeptical of all online education. And I think that's really made it like a lot more difficult for lash artists to find online education that they feel good about taking. It's also made it really hard for online educators as well.
Yeah. 1,000,000,000%. So that is kind of what has happened with the online space as a result from courses with master resale rights attached to it. But there also has been a huge shift. Maybe you've noticed it and maybe you haven't. There's been a huge shift in in-person lash trainings and in-person lash education. And a lot of people can't put their finger on it, but if you're a lash trainer or a lash educator, you were someone that was thriving, teaching tons and tons of classes, you know what I'm talking about, and we're here to share with you all what it was. So I want to tell you, I know this is like a presentation. I feel like I'm giving it's like a school project. It is like a school project, but I want this to be organized.
We want it to be organized. And also I would like to point out about like online education. I think this is like a temporary thing. I don't think it's like permanently no one's going to take online courses.
No, I think it's temporary too.
Yeah, I think this is 100% temporary. And I think this trend we're seeing with in-person education, I also think it's temporary. And foreshadowing, I think we would like to contribute to the solution.
Subtle foreshadowing. Education had the biggest effect on what Lightheart is today, and it is the number one thing that changed my career. So I was a working lash artist for 5 years when I got into lash education. I had taken about a dozen lash trainings, and when you take about a dozen lash trainings and you have it in your spirit to be someone that teaches the next generation of lash artists. I said, I'm going to take all of the life-changing things from all of these trainings that I've taken from all over the States, and I'm going to put my own spin on it, and I'm going to teach my own classes so that I can give students everything that, does this sound like you? This is where I was. And I said, I am going to put together the most comprehensive curriculum I possibly can of all the things that I've learned from taking way more trainings than I would want someone to take. And I'm going to put it all into one training, and I'm going to give someone the best training ever. That's how my classes were born in 2020. They were all in person. I was teaching them once a week, and I was very good at it, and I loved doing it. And it's where I found my place in the industry, was in-person private trainings. So I taught in-person private trainings for a few years, and then when we built Lightheart Studios, funded by my trainings, that was really the reason why we were able to grow and build out a building and build salon suites, and I was able to move into my bigger dreams, was because education funded it. It built my
100%.
business. It started out, profit was a side effect, but I was so passionate about what I was doing. And so then when we moved into Lash Studios, I was teaching my same class in small group form, and I was having students fly from all over the world to come to Lash Studios, and I was teaching my trainings. And it was just the thing I was most proud of, and it was what I was most confident at. Mm-hmm. And I know from the bottom of my heart, I can teach technique to anyone in an hour or two, and I can have them leave and be equipped with skills that took me years and years and years to get good at. I can give that to someone in a matter of hours. And so I was so confident as a good educator, and we were able to bring on Katie into our education team, and now she is the head of Lightheart Education. So this is so much bigger than just me now. This is now part of our company where we have employees and we have Katie, and then I stopped.
You've probably noticed we haven't hosted a group training in a while. We have stopped advertising all our private trainings, group trainings, and there's a reason for that. It's not just because we decided, we don't want to train anymore. It's really, there's been a trend over the last year. It's affected us. It's affected a lot of other educators, and basically the trend that we're seeing is that brands have begun trademarking technique names and are enforcing those trademarks. And I wish we could say a lot more about this, but our lawyer advised against it. He was like, this is what you can say, and so this is what we're going to say. So we confronted, when faced with this situation, we looked at the options available to us, and in our opinion, the only reasonable options to move forward with the business, with Lightheart, with education, with the business, because Lightheart at this point, way bigger than us. I mean, there's more people that work for Lightheart than just us, and we're just a small portion at this point. And so we have to think about what's best for them, what's best for the employees, what's best for the customers, what's best for the students, and the options, in our opinion, that were available to us that made sense for the business are either to stop teaching forever, to create a new technique, trademark it, and enforce the trademark, kind of like we've been seeing with what other brands have been doing.
So I could have done what everyone else is doing and had this magical new Lightheart technique, and then
Lightheart technique, we say it's trademarked by us. We're going to enforce the trademark, and we could do that, or we could try and figure out a way to make Lash Education permanently open and available to all educators, independent or otherwise. And that is what we have decided to do. And it's called Quick Fans. Quick Fans is our gift to the in-person educator. It is, we think, a great technique. Essentially, the idea behind Quick Fans, we have filed for trademark. The trademark is still pending, but we don't have any adverse actions against it. And because, we have the trademark filed, either we are going to receive the trademark, which is what's looking likely, or it's not trademarkable, in which case no one can get the trademark. And both of those options are perfect for us. Both of those options work. We don't care which one happens. The idea behind Quick Fans is that we have said Quick Fans is a trademark of Lightheart. And if you go on the Quick Fans page of lightheartlash.com, you will see that we have a public statement available. You can screenshot it. You can save it. It is our public statement that you can use to to basically hold us to our promise. Our promise to you is that we will permanently allow educators, lash artists, and even other brands, anyone in the lash industry, to use the Quick Fans trademark without any restrictions except one, which we legally have to have, which is that we can't let any other people claim that they invented Quick Fans, in which case our trademark could be deemed invalid, because if someone else is saying they invented it, then we would not have the prior rights to it. And if we let someone say that, then we would be basically admitting that someone else came up with it instead of us. So we can't allow that. But literally anything else, aside from saying, I invented Quick Fans, I came up with this thing, you can say literally anything about it. You can use it however you want. You can teach it. You can modify it. You can
post about it.
You can post about it. You can advertise it. You can make products for it. Literally, you can do anything. It is our gift to the lash industry, and it is a free and open technique that anyone can use. That's the idea behind Quick Fans.
And that is so exciting.
It is.
I think it is going to be a great direction for the industry going forward.
Yes, I think so too. And I think it's going to, my goal, our goal with it is that it's really helpful to lash artists. Our goal is that
lash trainers.
Yeah, it's very helpful for independent educators. That's really who we're trying to help with Quick Fans, because I think that, we both think that independent educators are kind of like the backbone of the lash industry. I think they do not get enough credit. Madison, obviously started as an independent educator. And I think independent education in the lash industry is huge. It is so important. And we just want to make sure that for the foreseeable future, independent educators at least have a technique that they never have to, think about any legal ramifications of using it. They're basically, you can, as an independent educator, you can teach it, you can talk about it, you can advertise it, and you don't have to worry about anything. And also, we think it's a really good technique.
Can I insert something
Absolutely.
Here? We haven't talked about this before, but this is important to us because I'm sure some of you are probably wondering, well, why would you care to support other educators and give them something that they can use without?
Yeah, because this is valuable.
But I just look at our history. Elliot and I have, it is such a core value to us. One of our major core values to support the independent. We believe the best artists work independently. And this is why I made the decision years ago to not have salon employees.
Yeah.
When a lot of people said that looks like that next step for you. You're fully booked. You're in a beautiful space. You should have people under you.
Yeah.
And I made that decision early on. And you can be very successful working for a salon, but I chose that I wanted to build a salon suite that helped give independent artists who run their own businesses, completely aside from me, the best and safest place for them to rent. The same thing went with our classes. Rather than teaching students, I actually want my students to out-succeed me. I want my students to go on to become successful educators if that's what they so want. There is no part of what I teach where I want people to be somewhat successful. I want them to achieve all of their dreams, even if that is, I want them to do as well as they can for themselves. And that goes for Quick Fans.
Yeah.
The reason why we're not making this a lightheart technique and, going that route, we have always held as a core belief that we want to support the independent artist, the independent educator, the independent, you know what's best for you. And we want to support that.
I think another, at least my hope is that another really good effect of this is going to be that Quick Fans continues to get better over time. I think one of the way
it's not a limiting technique.
No, exactly. The way we developed Quick Fans is we basically innovated on existing techniques that were out there. We took good things from techniques that existed. We said, how can we take out the bad things? How can we take out the things that are maybe not the bad things, but how can we take out the things that are difficult for students? How can we simplify this? How can we make it more refined? How can we make it better? And that's where Quick Fans came from. And I don't think that job is done. I think it would be ignorant for us to say, okay, this is the what we have put out as quick fans, this is the last lash technique that anyone is ever going to be doing. This industry is only 10 years old. I think that'd be ridiculous to say. But our goal is that quick fans is a foundation and a technique that you as an independent educator can iterate on, and you can add your unique knowledge and your unique experience into the quick fans project to improve it for everybody. So if there's a lash artist or a lash educator out there who's like, I love quick fans, but I think it could be a little bit better, this is how I think it could be better, reach out to us. We'll start advertising that. We'll talk about it, because like, we ultimately, at the end of the day, we just want lash artists to be using the most effective technique to fan and create beautiful lash sets. And whatever that technique looks like, we don't really care. We honestly, we'll make products that support that. We will do everything we can to help lash artists succeed at that. We are kind of, agnostic to what that looks like. We just want artists to be using the best technique and the best products possible. And so we're trying to make the best products possible, and we're trying to make the best technique available to educators. And so that's the goal with quick fans, is that it doesn't just stop here. And I think that's that's maybe the biggest benefit to making it open, making it free for everyone. It's like how Wikipedia couldn't have been created by one person. Wikipedia works because it is an open project that tons of people contribute to and make better every day. And so, I think our goal with quick fans is that it's
Wikipedia.
It's Wikipedia. we have the Learn Quick Fans page of the website. We have put in some free educational materials there that we would like you to, that you're free to use to learn quick fans. But if you want to contribute to the knowledge base, I think that would be amazing. I think I think this could become so much bigger than us. I think quick fans could be like, it could be so much bigger than Lightheart. And honestly, 10 years from now, I would not mind if the majority of people who learn quick fans had no idea that we were involved with it.
Leave me out of it.
Yeah, it's okay. That's okay. And that's why it's not like Lightheart fanning or like the Lightheart method. It's quick fans. It's separate from us. I think we did something kind of cool with quick fans. I think people are going to like it, but I think we really, truly want this to be separate from us. We want this to be something for you, for lash artists, for educators.
How is quick fans different from other techniques out there? So pretty much every single fanning method where you're using loose lashes, you're not using easy fans or ProMates. If you're using a loose base lash and you're using adhesive, I hope you're using adhesive for doing lashes, then there's only so many ways that you can.
And you're using a glue tray.
Yeah, and you're using a glue tray.
We think glue trays are very good. We think they're sanitary. We think they're a very good way, a safe way to do lashes. I think glue trays are better than glue rings. Hot take.
But
I think using glue tray.
I've seen many glue ring accidents in my day. I was someone that used to lash on people's foreheads. So, I've started from the bottom. We think that quick fans is the first technique to simplify the fanning process. And fanning has already been unsimplified over and over and over again throughout the years, right? Like, we went from the most complicated fanning techniques known to man to literally picking lashes up and putting them down, and picking lashes up and putting them down, and dipping them in glue and releasing pressure, and they go to the lash. And there are, a handful of ways that people do that. But earlier this year, in June of this year in Orlando, I hard launched what was the fewest step fanning method that we had done so far. Fewer by a step or two, but it was still the fewest.
Yeah, I think you had refined existing techniques, and it's an iteration on what already existed. And you took what you learned and improved upon it, I think, and made a technique that was hopefully easier and simpler and quicker for artists to do.
Yeah, it didn't reinvent the wheel, but for me, it was a few less micro movements than I was used to doing, and it sped things up by a few seconds for me, and I was able to get the bulk of my lashing done under an hour. And that was the hard launch of quick fans, was back in June of this year.
Yep. So one of the things that I think is really interesting to point out is that as the lash industry has developed, a few major techniques have become popular among lash artists. We have pinching, we have on the strip methods, we have flower cut methods, and we have glue tray fanning, which I think ours is a type of like glue tray fanning.
You really don't see a whole lot outside of that nowadays.
There's not a whole lot. There's some others which may become popular, but right now I think the dominant techniques in the industry are these. And out of these, I mean, Madison obviously has found that fanning using a glue tray and low adhesion lashes like ours is the fastest and most reliable way that artists can make beautiful fans. I mean, you've taught hundreds of people, so you've like seen what works for people. I think you would probably agree with that, right?
If there was something faster and more revolutionary, I would have thought about it by now. Yes.
We'd be teaching that instead.
Yes.
If there was here's the thing. We created the products that we made. Like we made the glue palette, we made the lashes the way they are because we wanted to make products that helped artists do the most effective technique possible and helped artists put beautiful fans on eyeballs. If there was different products that we could have made and released that would make that process easier than what our current products are doing, we would have done that.
Yeah,
or we'd be working on them right now. And I'll tell you, we're not working on, some revolutionary thing in the background. This, I think, is at least where the technology is right now with like the adhesives we have available,
the manufacturing
processes. Like, I think one of the things that made this kind of technique possible is the advances in tweezer manufacturing. Because I think 10 years ago, it would have been really hard to find, or when did lashes start?
20 years
20
ago.
years ago, I think it would have been really, really difficult to find tweezers that would work with, with quick fans. I don't think quick fans would have been possible because you just don't have the tweezer technology.
I was taught to lash with 2 straight tweezers 9 years ago.
Exactly. And she was that was already an outdated technique then. But basically, we think that this is the quickest, most reliable way that you can make fans.
So does quick fans reinvent the wheel? Absolutely not, right?
But it refined it.
All these techniques, the wheel has been invented, 10 years ago. It's just refined.
Yeah.
It's refined and you can say it. It's the most refined and perfected method for fanning fine diameter lashes that we have available to us today.
Absolutely. I think it is. And so we'll just do a quick explanation of the quick fans method.
It's probably some variation of what you're already doing. You're picking up lashes with 100% pressure. You're not doing any wiggling or manipulating them on the strip at all. So all you're doing is grabbing and pulling straight towards you. That's it. You move to your adhesive tray and you dip your fan to the very bottom. Our adhesive trays are custom depth. So they're 0.5 millimeter deep. And so you can dip your fan to the bottom.
Yeah.
Not all glue trays are created equal.
And quick fans can work with different glue trays, but you just may have to be a little more careful about, how deep you dip the lashes, but that's totally fine. It works. It works with any type of, I won't say any type of glue. It works with most types of glue trays. And so
I find a 0.5 millimeter deep adhesive tray
works really well.
Works the best because when I'm teaching students, I say you don't have to hover. You can dip your fan all the way to the bottom. You don't need to worry about getting too much adhesive because you won't. And then you just release a little bit of pressure in the star and you immediately put the pressure back. And that's it. You move to the natural lash and you wrap it. No crystallizing, no pinching, no shimmying, no wiggling, no pulling up, no pushing down. The reason why this method is quick and it's very easy to understand and it's easy for students to learn is because of all the things that you don't have to do. And that was our original speech in June was it's quick because of all the things you don't have to think about or do anymore.
Yeah. And I think it's also really good because it only takes one hand.
Yeah, it only takes one hand.
Which means that you can always be isolating and you can always be fanning. You putting both your hands to work at the same time, doing different things. I think it ends up making things faster. I think kind of in order to illustrate our point, I'd like to go on a small tangent. And it's about the cell phone industry, which I understand very different, but I think you'll see where I'm going with this. And I hope it's like interesting, informative. I hope it helps kind of illustrate my point. So when cell phones were first invented, every brand looked very, very different. You had BlackBerries with their like big full keyboard. You had the Nokia brick phones that are like iconic. You had the Razr flip phones. I'm sure probably a lot of people in our audience had one of those, which was like silver, sleek. Everyone was like, oh, this thing's so cool.
I had the pink Motorola and I covered it with sparkly nail polish to a point where you couldn't press the buttons down because they were covered in nail polish.
But every brand who created cell phones was trying to figure out what worked. They were trying to figure out what consumers want. They were trying to figure out what is the best way to make a cell phone. They all had the same goal. The goal was to let you talk on the phone, let you text,
Let you play Snake.
Let you play Snake. After a little while, it was to let you start using, apps, things like that. There was a lot of sliding phones. There was a lot of phones with full keyboards. And I remember when I was a kid, I was like, I will not get a phone unless it has a full keyboard, because I saw people online talking about how important it was. But then over time, I think a lot of brands started to realize, okay, most of what we're doing is not the move. And cell phones kind of started to all merge into really, really similar designs. I think if you look at today, you look at an iPhone, you look at a Android phone like a Samsung or a Google phone, you look at any of these phones, they all kind of look the same. They all have a big glass screen on the front. They all have a camera on the front. They all have a big piece of glass on the back, and they all have some cameras on the back, and they're all a big flat slab. And really, if you weren't familiar with any of them and someone showed you 20 different phones, you'd say, I have no idea which one's which, because they all look the same to me. And that's because people started to figure out what worked, and every design kind of merged together. And does that mean all phones are the same? No, there's small variations now, and the variations between phones have gotten a lot smaller, but those small variations make a big difference. And I think that is one of the things that's really important about independent educators is every independent educator teaches things in a slightly different way. And even if two educators are, say, teaching quick fans, or two educators
pinching, teaching anything,
they're going to teach them in slightly different ways. And those variations, I think, are very important. And I think those variations really affect the end student experience. And I think those variations are why it's so important to have lots of different independent educational voices out there. And I think it's really important that we don't have the whole industry just collapse into a few big brands having their proprietary techniques that they only let, that maybe they only let a certain number of people teach, or they restrict the teaching of by enforcing their like trademarks or whatever they have, which obviously they have every right to do. But I think that having independent educators have the ability to teach techniques without restriction, I think will be a net positive thing for the lash industry, because I think the variations in how educators teach things will end up being very, very helpful for students, and it'll help lash artists ultimately become better.
That's very smart, Elliot. You are so smart. I had a little story pop into my mind. And if you have ever taught a lash class, you're a private educator, an independent educator, you'll all agree with me. How many times has a student come to you and said, I've learned this technique from this brand. I've learned this technique from this person in my hometown. I learned this technique online, but I'm coming to you today because I need a refresher, or because I need to see how you do it in person, or I need to spend 3 to 4 hours up close with somebody, or I need to work on a live model, or I need your expertise on this specific thing. It happens so often. Almost every single student I've had previously learned these techniques, and it wasn't that they were learning an entirely different technique from me. We were teaching the same thing, but it was just that people will choose who they want to learn from based on what they need. And I believe to my core that every independent educator has something valuable and unique and special to offer. And it's not this secret proprietary technique that only they can teach, where they're like, I fan with my foot and it's very new and you can't tell anyone, it's very secret. It maybe just because of their personality. I mean, I'm sure people would, if you had to pick between taking a training with me and Katie and they were the same price and at the same location and it was the same training, you'd probably book on who you related to most, and I truly believe there is so much value off booking a training with someone that maybe they're close to you. Maybe it's somebody that you trust and you've been a part of their audience for a long time. You really have built this trust with them. Maybe it's someone that you're in a really, you struggle with one particular thing. I've had people that come to me in my trainings and they say, one of my most special clients, I really struggle with this one thing and it's hurting my relationship with them in my business. I need your expertise because you've dealt with this thing. And there really is a beauty in, those slight distinctions between in-person educators. And I want to see each of them individually be able to thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and also just like being an independent educator led to everything that Lightheart has become.
Yeah, it did.
And so we want to do everything that we can to encourage the next generation of independent educators. I feel like it's a little early for us to be saying like, oh, the next generation, because I mean, we're not that old. We're not old yet. But I really do think like
pushing 30.
I'm almost 30, you guys. We're getting a little old.
I know.
But
I'm joking.
We really want like new educators, people who want to become educators over the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years to be encouraged. And we want to do everything we can to do that. And we want to make it as easy as possible for educators to use their unique experiences and their unique knowledge and the things that make them special to teach the next generation of Lash artists. And we don't want educators to have to feel like, oh, I have to come up with some brand new, never before seen technique in order to be justified in teaching trainings. Because I really think like I said before, the Lash industry, we're starting to figure out, what techniques generally work for people. And I think quick fans is one of those techniques. And I think if you are like us and you agree that lashing with low adhesion lashes like ours and a glue tray is a really good way to lash, then you feel free to teach quick fans and
say it. Talk about it as much as
you want. And that also goes for
angel lashes. So many people, when we first started the angel lash trend, and I was posting about angel lashes, we had our angel lash class and everyone was like, Maddie is the angel lash girl. Give her credit, queen. I was always sent profiles and people would be like, oh my gosh, Maddie, there is someone overseas in the Netherlands, in China, in wherever, and they're teaching the angel lash course, and like, you need to be upset about this. And I had to make a decision so early on, something that my name was attached to that I could have easily, taken credit for, the rest of my career. And I'm grateful when people are like, oh, Maddie, started this angel lash thing. But truly in my heart, I don't really.
Angel lashes are for all of our angels.
Everyone, and I really don't. And I think, if you come up with something, you have every right to like protect that and care about that. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that like trademarking something you came up with is wrong.
I don't think
it's great.
That's the thing. I want to make sure that no one is like misunderstanding us. We're not saying that like trademarking and enforcing your trademark is wrong and what we are doing is right.
You're fully in your rights to do so.
What we are saying is the move that feels best for us is to try and do everything we can to help the people who were in the same position as us just a few years ago. Absolutely. And I think Quick Fans is kind of what we're trying to do that. And I don't think it's the only way to do that. And I don't think necessarily, it might not even be the best way to do it, but it's the best way that we've come up with. So
well, and we've had all year to think about it.
We've had a long time to think about it. This is the best thing we've come up with.
And so we've decided to do the same thing with angel lashes. And so if you want to teach an angel lash class and you don't want to say the Lightheart angel method, you don't want to say the Lightheart Maddie Morris angel, you can just say, I teach angel lashes. Absolutely. And I will cheer you on from the sidelines. Absolutely. That's what we've decided to do, what feels best for us. And so I want to encourage you guys today, I have so many people I know in our network that want desperately to be educators.
Yeah.
They want desperately to teach, and they are just, and what we can give you a few things, because I want to see that dream happen for you. And, I didn't have it all together when I first started. When I launched my classes, I was young in the industry and I was just figuring it out. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have someone telling me how to like organize my classes. I did the best I could, and it built me a beautiful life and a beautiful business. And I want you to just, if this is a dream in your heart to teach,
go for it. Don't let anything stop you except not wanting to do it. Just if
you have my full support.
We just don't want like the technique part of it to be stopping you. Yeah. And so we want, that's why we did Quick Fans. That's why it's here. And that's why we are kind of trying to put our money where our mouth is by also, along with this podcast, we're making publicly available free resources for educators. So if you go to Quick Fans on our website and then you click Teach Quick Fans, you will be able to put in your information, just basically, certify that you are an educator. Because one of the things that we want to do in releasing this is try and help you still have content that isn't just freely available on the internet to give to your students. We just want you to be able to feel good about teaching it. So basically, we just have a form on the website. You fill it out, you put in your information, and then we will send you a Quick Fans video tutorial for educators. So essentially, it's Madison. I mean, you can talk about what that is.
So it is a video where I talk about kind of the most effective ways to teach it and to give little tips and tricks to your students. And this is probably, a variation of some technique you're already teaching, but maybe there's going to be something in that video where you're like, oh, I've never seen it described like that, but it's all helpful things that I've done to teach my students. And so it might be a good takeaway for you to say, oh, I'm gonna use that little tip that she said, and I'm going to use that in my classes. Maybe that'll make it easier to digest for new students of mine.
And then we also are putting out in the same email, once you put in your information, you'll also receive a digital manual that you can just drop into your existing curriculum to start including Quick Fans in there. You can absolutely modify it, change it as much as you want, use some of it or none of it or all of it. Any option is totally fine. And then we're also including a folder of images and graphics that we've had commissioned, kind of showing the Quick Fans process that you can use in your manuals any way you want if you want to customize it even more.
And it's free.
Yeah, and it's all free. And it's just, we are, talking up Quick Fans. We're talking about how we want to support educators in doing it. And so I think this is like the best way we can think of to, do everything we can to support educators in teaching Quick Fans. And then we also have,
this is crazy.
This is very exciting. This is very exciting. Oh, here, let me get rid of our thing. This is very exciting. So we are releasing student kits, and it's our educators student kit program, essentially. I haven't come up with a great catchy name for it, but essentially you can go on our website. On the Teach Quick Fans page, there's a link to our educator kits. It'll probably be on the partners page too. You can click get educator kits.
You will receive over $500 of Lightheart products, the exact same kit that Katie and I will be giving our students, the kit that we already give to our students. And it's just $199 for every single student that you teach.
So this is the biggest discount you can get on our products literally anywhere ever. We're never running a sale that's this big. I guarantee we haven't run a sale. There's no other way to get Lightheart products for this affordably. And you may be thinking, why are they doing this? Well, first of all,
and why are they doing this over a traditional wholesale program or an affiliate program or whatever? We built this business on education, and it makes sense for us to make it as easy as possible, especially in a time as this. There are incredible educators out there, but they're just struggling. They're like, I can't afford to spend $500 on every student kit for my students. But I want to give them.
You want to give them enough products for them to get started.
Yeah, I don't want to give them just stuff that I don't believe in or stuff that I don't use myself. But $500 is a big chunk of a class price, and it takes a huge chunk out of your margin. And so for us, we just want to give to educators as much as humanly possible. Yeah.
And so if you're able to advertise that every student who's taking your class is going to get over $500 worth of Lightheart products, I think that's a good selling point for your classes. Yeah. I feel like, and also, it makes it way easier for you to offer it because you're not paying $500 for it. You're paying $199. We should probably explain what we're getting out of this. Cause I think I'm always skeptical of if someone's like, oh, we're giving you this insane discount. It's like, okay, are you really? Why are you doing
right? Exactly.
Here's the reason. So we're giving you so we're giving you these products basically at cost. This is very close to our production fulfillment cost. We are not making.
We make $0 on.
We're making money. We're not making money on the student kits. But the reason we are doing this is because we think the most important demographic for us to reach with Lightheart products is the artists who are learning to Lash from quality educators. If you are taking a training, if you are a student and you're taking a training from an educator that cares about you and cares about the education you receive, then those are the kind of students that we want our products to be in front of. Because I think that if someone is willing to invest in their education, they're not going to take, just any random lash training. They're not going to just say, okay, I got, a 6-hour lash training in beauty school. I'm good. I'm going to start doing that. If it's a student who is investing in their education, they take their career seriously. We want those people to see and try Lightheart products. And so we're willing to, basically say, hey, educator kits, that's not a profit center for us. That's not making us money, but it's getting our products out there to the people who need them. And I think it'll be just so nice for educators, because I feel like, don't want to toot our own horn, but I feel like it is so much easier to teach students with like quality products that work for them than if you're trying to teach students.
It's night and day. It's night and day.
Like no brand Amazon lashes that they're like.
It's night and day, Elliot.
Yeah.
I've tried saving money on my kits in the past, because I've always, one of the biggest selling points of my training is like, it's always been huge kits, over the top kits, biggest kit that you can get from a private training. And it was a huge part of my cost that I would pay for. And oh my goodness, there were so many times where I tried cutting corners, and I was like, well, if I want to give them all these trays and all these tweezers and everything, like maybe I'll try to buy them, from here, or I'll save a few dollars here. And about halfway through the training, when my student is struggling, because these aren't actual tweezers that I use every day, I would just give in and I would go, actually just take mine from my stash.
Let me rate my stash.
And then they'd go, oh my gosh, these are great. I'm taking these home, and I would just end up giving them my whole stash. And so what I found is one reason why it could be easier for you to teach students is if you have products that make it easier for them. I like to think our products make lashing very easy. For beginners and advanced, we teach our 30-hour, licensing program here. Katie literally teaches people how to, hold tweezers and work on clients for the first time in their entire career. And we have everyone leave capable of lashing clients. Because, and a lot of the reason I truly believe is because they're using products that were very intentionally made for them. Yeah.
No, and I think it'll be really nice. Go on our website. It is by application only. All the Quick Fans resources are completely free. Don't have to get approved, nothing. You just put in your information. We email it to you automatically. You get it instantly. The student kits program is by application only, just because we do want to make sure that you are, currently an educator. We want to make sure that you are like actively teaching students. We just want to make sure that we are giving these kits to the educators that really need them. And so it's an application process. Once we accept you, then the way it works is you will just give us your student information every time you have a student, so we can confirm like, okay, they have a student, this is a real person. And then once we confirm that the student actually exists and is real, then we will give you a one-time use coupon code. You get, massive discount on products. You use it, you give it to your student, and then you can do it every time you have a student. There's no limit. Basically, the only limit is how many students you can teach.
And your kits will be so beautiful.
And they'll be so beautiful.
Guys, it is going to be the highlight of my life because
they're going to be so good.
Truly, when I think about the best days of my 20s have been spent with private students. I mean, those were just like some of the greatest days, the greatest memories, the greatest relationships I'll ever have. And I remember my favorite part of the day was laying out their student kit the night before, and just like, I was just so excited for them. I just felt like I was just Santa Claus giving them like this beautiful box of presents. And so to be able to see all over the States, all over the world, educators that share that same excitement, to set up their kits the night before and to see, our products and like to know that our student is going to receive that. Like, I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for you all to feel like Santa Claus giving your Lightheart kits. And they're going to be very, very beautiful kits very soon.
Oh yeah. So they will start shipping in 2 weeks. You'll start getting the kits, and then they will start shipping with a custom like gift box in like by January.
My goodness,
hopefully
that's so
before,
beautiful,
but definitely by January, they'll have a like custom gift box that basically you don't have to repackage them or anything. Basically, you just get the box, you set it down on the table, and I think these are great. Like I said, we're not making money on these. Honestly, we might.
I think we're losing
if
money.
you're
the numbers,
a brand owner, please don't sue me for not knowing this, because this is something we should know. But I think we might be losing money on these. But that's honestly fine.
I literally crunched the numbers.
Don't even care.
We're losing money.
Don't even. We probably definitely are, but that's okay.
If Madison can crunch the numbers,
because the thing is, I think it's such a net positive. It's such a net positive. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it for us. We don't care. I hope we send out as many of these as possible. Screw the margins.
I have one more frequently asked question that I think people are going to have.
Yep.
Because I get DMs every single day, and I have gotten the most heartfelt emails of people wanting to be Light Heart trainers. Why? And we have intentionally decided going forward to not expand into Light Heart trainers at this time. And we currently just have Katie Gonzalez here in the state of Arizona and doing some travel trainings as our education department.
Soon to be a few more travel trainings.
I know Katie is going to be a busy woman pretty soon, but why have we decided? Because it seems like, especially with the interest, we could have had a trainer in every city.
Absolutely.
Why have we intentionally decided to lose money on these huge kits we're giving to people and give them all these free resources to add to their own manuals and have them not, why did we do that instead of Light Heart trainers?
So I think at the end of the day, we believe that this route that we have chosen with, throwing all our support behind independent educators, at the end of the day, will get the best results for Lash students. And I think it will end up as a net positive for the industry, where if we were to compare, trying to expand our educators program into every city, and
meaning that everyone would they would be teaching my identical curriculum. They would be under the Light Heart brand name. They would book it through us. We would market for them. They would teach completely, almost identically to the same way I teach.
I think having a vibrant community of independent educators, I think in the long term will be better than that, right?
I think so too.
I think so.
And I feel like it's hard to say no to things because there's so many people that I love so much and I admire so much. And I'm like, of course I want you a part of the brand. I mean, if it was up to me and money was no object, I would have 500 employees just because I love our employees. I would have 500 of them, but I feel like in my heart, and maybe these are people that they love Light Heart so much. They love our brand vision so much. They love our products and everything. But at the end of the day, I want them a year from now, 2 years from now, I want them to feel some sort of freedom in their classes, where they're able to switch things up, switch up the branding. What if their branding no longer aligns with us,
Absolutely.
What if they want to teach something different? What if a year goes on and they hate angel lashes? What if, I want to be people's cheerleader and be a brand that supports the independent and supports, and that kind of is, if you look at our brand ambassadors have very unique aesthetics.
Yeah.
Our brand ambassadors have very unique personalities, who have very unique lives and businesses. And so do our renters.
Yeah.
Look at our renters. We have so much variety. And I think that I operate best from a place of supporting them being their most authentic, individual, unique person. They don't have to be under my brand umbrella for me to support them. They don't have to be in our direct table for me to want them to eat. I want the people in this industry that care about it to thrive and to feel as comfortable being as creative and real and genuinely them as possible. And so if Light Heart can have any chance to support them in that, I think these two things will be a really valuable support to the independent educator.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think that this is the best way to encourage people to innovate on quick fans. And I think this is the best way to
make it quicker.
Encourage people to improve the techniques that are available to everyone. It's if we come out and we say, hey, we're going to be the first ones to, publicly say, hey, this is a free and open technique for everyone to use. I hope this catches on. And my goal is that, our hope is that other artists, the reason QuickFans exists is because Madison came out and said, hey, I think that the techniques that everyone's currently using could be a little better. And just a little bit. And I'm going to do what I can to improve on them. And then I'm going to tell people about how I've improved them. And if they like it, then they can use it. And that's great. And I think if someone else, the next Maddie, comes up and is like, hey, I think that QuickFans could be a little quicker, and I think it could be improved in this way and this way, I hope that is a, free and open technique as well. And I think it could be QuickFans 2.0. I
hope it's quicker fans.
Yeah, it could be quicker fans. It could just be QuickFans.
So I don't claim to have like invented everything or invented anything.
No.
I literally I am new to this industry. I'm 9 years in. People have been in this industry for
way longer,
and they have done way more innovative things because they were around at a time that there was way more opportunity to, invent things.
Yeah.
And so if you're a lash artist of my generation, by us making these little moves, these little steps by saying, oh, let's adjust this micro movement, let's tweak this, let's tweak that, we're making that cell phone go from the 3 very different cell phones to making that one cell phone a little bit better.
Yeah. It's like now the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 16 look like the same phone, but the iPhone 16 is still better.
Yeah. And I mean, truly, if someone, my goal is that, because credit isn't my goal. So my goal is that a year from now, there is someone somewhere in the world that says, I teach QuickFans and it's 2 steps and it's a name they use.
Yeah. If someone does QuickFans better than us, I support them. I hope I hope they get so much success, and I hope their trainings are always sold out.
Me too.
And that's the goal. And honestly, and if it needs a different type of product in order to support it, we will make it.
We'll help you make it.
We'll help you make it.
Yeah.
And that's really the goal, is like, we just want to provide, like, it's in our mission statement. We want to provide the best tools in education to help artists be the best they can be. We will consider QuickFans a success if it helps independent educators and lash artists and brands all succeed. And I think that is the goal of QuickFans. We also have released for free some resources for artists who want to learn QuickFans. You can just click on Learn QuickFans on the QuickFans page of the website. And we have a video tutorial that we put out totally free. And then we have a little digital manual and cheat sheet that we're putting on there. And you can just go on, check it out, see if it works for you, try it out. And I hope it does. I hope it's helpful. We just want to, try and give as much as we can. And that's the goal. But yeah, that's the whole thing. Do you have anything else?
Yeah.
What else?
Sometimes my friends that listen to the podcast, they send me pictures where they put us up on like their TV screen. And so I always look like I'm like,
Okay, so we do a little post so people can take a picture.
Yeah. Give a little kiss. Give a little smooch.
Okay. That was your picture opportunity.
And let's do that every episode.
That was the picture opportunity.
So if you made it to this point, you get your cute little picture. So it's not just me and Elliot being like, "Oh my gosh, what are we talking about?"
We're like the It's Always Sunny screenshot.
Yeah,
where he's like,
Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's like,
crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so QuickFans, learn it, teach it, talk about it. But yeah.
Until next time,
we love you so much, and we just love this industry, and we just want to do everything we can to help educators and artists succeed. And so also, if you've listened to this and you're like, well, I think they could be doing this to be more giving to educators, and I think this could help educators do even better, then let us know, because that really is our goal.
Send us an email.
Our success is your success.
Yeah.
And
we'll do whatever we can to make it better.
Yeah. So love you so much. Talk to you later. Smooches.
Bye.